Hey everyone, my name is Maddie and I'm part of the online education team here at Hootsuite. And today we're going to cover the basics on how to get started with Hootsuite. My goal is that by the end of this video, we'll have your Hootsuite account looking like mine. So having all your social accounts connected within Hootsuite in one easy to manage dashboard, getting you to create and publish your first social post and schedule it into your content calendar. We'll also explore how you can generate or curate some social content ideas easily within the dashboard, so you can create engaging, high-performing content. Next, we'll look at some different streams for monitoring your social accounts and engaging with your audience, as well as a quick introduction to our analytics tools so you can start measuring your results and see what's working and what may need to be tweaked for later. Hootsuite also has some really awesome, more advanced features, and if you're interested in checking those out, I've linked some more videos below. So this is just a little sneak peek of what it's going to look like in the end, but let's go back to the very beginning and I'll show you how I set all this up. I encourage you all to log into your Hootsuite account and follow along. If you don't have a Hootsuite account yet, don't panic. I've got a special 60-day free trial here just for you, and I've linked it in the description below, so definitely take advantage of that. So once you've signed up with Hootsuite, you'll be prompted to add your social accounts. So for this walkthrough, let's assume I'm the social media manager for a hotel chain called Athene Suites that has multiple social media accounts on different platforms. I'm going to add my Facebook account first. And here I'm just going to follow the prompts to allow Hootsuite to access my account. So I'm going to sign in, and now I can select from the Facebook pages, groups, and profiles associated with this account and add them to Hootsuite. Once that is done, I can see the account connected at the bottom here, and I can repeat this process for any other network that I want to add. I recommend setting up at least 3 accounts to get started. You can always add additional accounts later, and I'll point out all those areas when we get there. It's worth mentioning that your Instagram business account needs to be connected to a Facebook page before you're able to connect it in Hootsuite. I'm not going to cover that process now, but I've dropped an in-depth video below if you need any help setting Instagram up. So now that we've added our social networks, we're ready to create our first post and schedule some content for the upcoming week. To get started, you click on the Composer button. The Composer button can be accessed here from anywhere in the dashboard, and the Composer will immediately pop up and you can choose which networks you want to schedule to. For this example, I'm going to schedule to Facebook and Instagram simultaneously. I don't cross-post like this often, but I want to highlight how Hootsuite allows you to customize posts for each network. And you can also add a new network from here as well. Once I have the channels selected, I can add in my text, links, and any hashtags for my post here. I can also add emojis and even look at some hashtag suggestions Hootsuite provides to me. Hootsuite also partners with Grammarly, so this will automatically check for spelling and grammar errors, which is super useful. If I were to add a link to this post, right away you can see that my link looks pretty long and clunky. Hootsuite does have an automatic link shortener built in, so all you have to do is select Shorten with Owly, and we see that the link is automatically condensed over in the preview section. It looks way cleaner to my audience, and it also uses less characters, which can be really helpful if you're sharing to a network with character limitations. And just a note here that the shortened link is going to appear in the preview window, but your original URL will appear in the content area here. Now it's time to attach some media. If you want to upload your own image or video, you would just go here and click to upload, or you could drag and drop your file. You can also search the media library, where you have access to our free image library and Giphy. Because I don't have any images picked yet for this post, and I'm posting about travel, I'm going to search travel within the free image library, and I'm going to find a photo that I like. I like this one, so I'm going to select it and add it to my post. Hootsuite also has an integration with Canva. I suggest connecting your Canva account and exploring some of the great content creation features there. We should also make sure we're always meeting accessibility standards with our social posts. So a good tip is to add alt text, which is descriptive text that can be read about the image. If you hover over your media, you'll see this little alt icon. Click it to enter alt text for that photo, and this makes the image more accessible for everyone. Now, because I'm posting this to different channels, and I want to tailor my content slightly for each channel, once I get the initial copy and media, or the meat and potatoes of my post in, I can select the network icons here and customize my copy and even imagery for each network and see the preview on the right to see how my post will look. I can also @mention specific accounts on that network. It's also worth checking out the word count limit at the bottom left here and make sure you are within each network's character limit. So for Instagram, since it doesn't support clicking a link, I'm going to remove that and update it to say, visit our link in bio, so that people can check it out there. We have some different options available depending on what type of post you want to create. So just make sure that you're selecting the correct one for your needs. I'm going to make this one into a post, so I'll select that, and I'll use the Hootsuite photo editor to quickly change the aspect ratio for this network. This is super handy for any quick aspect ratio adjustments. For example, you can see Instagram story cropping size here if I had decided to make this into a story. Right now, I'm pretty happy with how this post is looking. I've toggled through the preview window to see how it looks on Facebook and Instagram, and it's looking pretty good. I'm ready to schedule it out. To schedule, I just go down to the Schedule for Later button, and once I select that, I have the option to pick a day and time that I want it to go out. So if I have a specific time that I want this to go out, for example, maybe it's for an upcoming event and I know that I want it to go out next Wednesday at 2 p.m. I can select that manually. But Hootsuite also uses data from your past posts and industry info to recommend the best times to post for you. So if you aren't sure when to schedule for, I recommend using this option. I'm going to choose one of the times provided by Hootsuite, and I'll click Done, and then the Schedule button, and it will schedule both of these posts for that time. Now let's head over to the planner and check out what we've scheduled. Planner shows all of the content that we have scheduled across all of our networks. I can see the ones that I just did here, which is really exciting. But let me show you what a more filled out calendar would look like. So if I want to home in on my calendar, I can filter by network here. This is also another area you could add a social account if you wanted to. You can further filter by a bunch of different options under post status as well. I can change my calendar view, so I can look by month, week, or day, depending on what works best. Any of these posts can be easily grabbed and moved to any date and time. You can click on a post to see more details about it, and even delete, duplicate, or edit the post, which will bring us back to the Composer to make our edits. Planner is also another place you can access the Composer. So if you prefer to look at a calendar and say, hey, I see a gap in my calendar here and I want to post on this day, you can simply click in the planner, select Create Post, and then it will take you to the Composer to craft your post the same way. Similar to the Composer giving us hot tips on the best time to post our content, Planner also shows these recommended time suggestions. Once you have enough data in your account, Hootsuite will recommend the best times to post per each network, which can be super handy for making sure all your content gets to the right people at the right time. Now, maybe I haven't had my morning coffee and the gears aren't quite turning yet, or maybe I haven't been inspired lately and I can't think of anything to post, but I need to get some content scheduled. That is where the Inspiration tab comes in handy. This tab is super useful for generating ideas. I recommend clicking through here and checking out some of the options. Each suggestion gives you some starting copy, visual suggestions, ideas of what to post, and some best practices. You would prep this post the same way in the Composer. It will autofill in some of the information based on what you choose, and you can edit and schedule it as we did with our other post. Now let's head over to Streams. Hootsuite Streams are feeds that display the content from all your connected social accounts. In Streams, you can monitor keywords, mentions, topics, hashtags, brand mentions, and even competitors in one place. You have the flexibility to set up your boards and streams however you like, but as you can see, Hootsuite has conveniently set up some boards to get me started. They are organized by network, which is awesome and how I typically suggest people to set up their boards to get started. If you want to add another network, you can do so from this area. I haven't connected my Twitter yet, so I'm just going to do that here and follow all of the prompts. And you can see Hootsuite has set up a Twitter board for me to get started. I can click to rename any of these boards and drag them around to change the order. And over in the main area of my dashboard, I can see the streams for the selected board. If you ever want to create a new board, you can do so from here, and Hootsuite will offer some prompts to get you started based on your goals. So let's check out our Twitter board and see what types of streams we have available. So we already have a stream for my tweets, which shows everything that I've already sent out. There is also a scheduled tweet stream, which is empty because we just set that network up, but anything that we had scheduled in the planner would also appear here. Now here we can look at some of the other streams that we can add from our Twitter account. I'm going to select my Twitter account from the network options and add a mention stream. This stream is letting me see every time someone has mentioned me, so that's my account AtheneSweets on Twitter, and it's having a conversation with me, so I can immediately respond here. I'd also suggest adding a home stream. The home stream is letting me see things on my Twitter homepage or my newsfeed, so I can see anything that I may want to interact with. Next, we'll add a search stream. This will allow me to monitor key hashtags or topics that I may want to be paying attention to. So if I wanted to see what people were talking about, for example, hotels, I'll just put that in there and search for it. And that's going to show me every time that the hashtag hotels has been mentioned across Twitter. If you want to narrow your search results, I recommend using and checking out the advanced search stream, where you have a ton of different filtering options. So I've got my Twitter board pretty well set up here, and now I'm going to look at my Instagram board. You can see I have some similar streams available for Instagram as we did for Twitter, like active posts and scheduled posts. In this case, we can actually see a post that we scheduled earlier for Instagram in the scheduled post stream. Instagram has some hashtag stream options that we could use for monitoring, similar to what we did on Twitter. For example, we can create a recent hashtag search for AtheneSweets, and we would see anyone on Instagram who's using the hashtag AtheneSweets in the last 24 hours. And we can potentially curate some content that I can share to my own channels. So for example, here I see a guest's photo of a drink at my hotel bar, and I think that it would fit really well into my content plan. I can send it to the composers straight from streams to share it on my own channel. Just remember that you should always reach out to the person whose content it is to get permission to use it before you share it. I also really like setting up a trending hashtag stream on some hashtags relevant to my industry to see what my competitors are posting. So for example, I can put in hashtag travel, hashtag beach vacation, or hashtag travel deals. And now I see some content from my competitors, so I can keep an eye on what they're doing. There are lots of different stream options to utilize, and they all differ by networks, so I suggest taking some time to explore them on your own, but setting them up by network is a great way to get started. Last but not least, you'll want to see if your efforts are yielding any results. Hootsuite has a robust analytics tool just for that. Go to analytics to measure, chart, and track the overall performance of your social media activity across multiple social networks. Then you can use this information to gauge your ROI, engagement, reach, and more. This is also where you'll find the best time to publish data. Analytics is a whole video in itself, and if you want to learn more about Hootsuite Analytics, I've included some links below to check out. If you click on Owly in the top left anytime in the dashboard, you'll be taken to the homepage where you can see your social score. Your social score is a daily snapshot of your social performance. It shows how you compare with industry leaders. So you'll get personalized recommendations to improve your score, and the higher your score, the more likely you are to grow. Check this out for some insights and recommendations. The last thing that I always recommend taking a look at is your account settings, which we can find by going to the My Profile button at the bottom here, and then selecting Account Settings. Here we can change our time zone, which is important for making sure your scheduled posts are going out at the right time in the right time zone. You can also add a profile photo or change your language preferences. Hootsuite also has a bunch of third-party app integrations to connect other services to Hootsuite, and you can find them all in the app directory. And a lot of them are free, so you can search for free apps and find any that interest you, or you can search for a specific integration. CloudView by Hootsuite or Google Drive is a great one for linking your assets from Google Drive to Hootsuite. Overall, that's the way I like to set up my accounts and dashboard. I hope you found it useful. It should provide a really good starting point for keeping track of what's going on in your social calendar. And it's always helpful to remember that if you have any questions, you can check out our help center, reach out to customer support, or view any of our Hootsuite Academy content over here in the sidebar. There is also a search function on the side nav, so if you're ever looking for something specific, I recommend trying this search bar first, and it will usually lead you to that area of the product or a help desk article that should answer most of your questions. This should make your day-to-day a lot easier and allow you to be a lot more proactive. Thanks so much, everyone.